Millions of people became obsessed with the Duggar family from Arkansas after they were featured in a Discovery Health Channel special of TLC's Counting On reality television series. The logistics of raising a huge family, which had grown to 19 kids, and their strong conservative values and rigid adherence to their faith as Independent Fundamentalist Baptists piqued the interest of viewers. However, fame turned to notoriety following reports that Josh Duggar, the eldest of the brood, molested 5 girls, 4 of whom were his younger sisters, by fondling them when he was a teenager. Why did the Duggars have such a large family? Jim Bob Duggar and Michelle Ruark were married in a simple ceremony on the 21st of July, 1984. The couple originally planned on having 2 or 3 children, so after Josh was born on the 3rd of March, 1988, she went back to taking birth control pills. However, she still conceived, only to miscarry after 2 months, apparently because of the effect of the contraceptive. They were heartbroken, so turned to reading the scriptures as they grieved for their unborn child. As they read that children are a blessing and a gift from God, Psalm 127, verse 1 to 5, they prayed for forgiveness, and then gave God control over how many children they would have. They were blessed, if that's the right word, with 19 kids, the youngest born in 2009. Josh was a baby when Jim Bob and Michelle first heard about the beliefs of homeschooling. His parents saw this as an opportunity to train their children in the manner that God commanded. Having many kids, it would be impossible for parents to personally attend to the needs of each child. So the couple established a buddy system in which an older child would be partnered with a younger sibling or 2 to assist in their personal hygiene, studies, and other tasks. There was a master list of each child's responsibilities to monitor their progress. They followed a schedule, so there would be order in the house. Their time with their father was usually at 9 in the evening, as they read and discussed Bible passages for an hour. After that, it was bedtime. The Duggar patriarch served 2 terms in the Arkansas House of Representatives for Washington County's District 9 from 1999 to 2003. Instead of seeking re-election in 2002, he ran for the U.S. Senate and, as a couple, along with 14 children, were walking toward the polling place. They were captured on camera. Their photo appeared in the New York Times the following day, which led to a feature article in The Parents magazine. Soon, Feature 8 Films' Bill Hayes contacted them about the possibility of doing a documentary for the Discovery Health Channel. Jim Bob might have lost the election, but he found a bigger platform in which to share their faith with the public when his family was featured in the 2004 TV special 14 Children and Pregnant. By this time, they had outgrown their 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom home, so were in the process of building a 7,000-square-foot house. The show gave an insight into how a large family such as theirs made things work, from grocery shopping to doing chores at home, as well as the education aspect. It became the network's highest-rated TV show, so 2 years later, a series of specials was aired, such as Raising 16 Children and 16 Children and Moving In. The cable network TLC launched the reality TV series 17 Kids and Counting, followed by 18 Kids and Counting, and then 19 Kids and Counting. It ran for 10 seasons, from 2008 to 2015, with each episode of the final season being viewed by an audience of more than 2 million. It was canceled following the scandal involving Josh Duggar. However, people had not seen the last of the Duggars, as the 3-part special, Jill and Jessa Counting On, premiered on the 13th of December 2015. It was focused on the lives of the 2 girls as they started their own families, and it continued for a full season in the following year, with the rest of the older children joining them. As they reached new milestones as grown-ups, the title of the series changed to simply Counting On, and eventually ran for 11 seasons, with the last episode aired in 2020. It was also canceled in the wake of Josh's arrest. The Duggars became one of reality TV's most popular families, but unbeknown to the viewing public, Josh Duggar had a dark past the family had kept hidden for years. In May 2015, In Touch Weekly published an article that detailed a police report on a child molestation case against Josh. In March 2002, Jim Bob was informed by a female minor that Josh touched her breasts and genital area on many occasions while she was asleep. Josh was 14 or 15 at the time. He admitted it to his father in July and was disciplined at home as a result. However, it wasn't an isolated case, as the patriarch discovered by March 2003 that his eldest molested 4 more underage girls while they were sleeping, and at times even when they were awake. 4 of the victims were his younger sisters and 1 a babysitter. Jim Bob talked to his church elders about it, and reportedly, they came to a decision to send Josh to Little Rock, Arkansas to receive counseling and do manual labor from March to July 2003. However, Josh's mother later admitted that her son was sent away to live with a family friend who had a home remodeling business, and he didn't receive counseling. Upon Josh's return home, his father and some church elders brought him to the police to disclose what happened. However, Arkansas State Trooper Joseph Truman Hutchins only gave him a very stern talk about the consequences of such behavior if he didn't stop doing it, and then sent him on his way without taking any official action. Apparently, the state trooper knew Bob personally. He was later imprisoned himself on child pornography charges. Fast forward to 2006, the family had flown to Chicago as they were invited to appear in an interview on The Oprah Winfrey Show, but it was canceled after Oprah's production company, Harpo Studios, received an email warning them about the child molestation allegations against the eldest son, and that his parents were covering it up. It stated, "They are not what they seem to be. I think you should know the truth before they make a complete fool of you and your show." Shortly after that, the production faxed a letter to the Department of Human Services hotline. It was also said that the Arkansas Child Abuse Hotline received a tip on child abuse occurring in the Duggar home. There was much speculation on who sent the anonymous email or tipped the authorities. Some said that it came from their own community. It was reported that the Duggars' friends, Jim and Bobby Holt, were aware of what happened because while Josh was courting their daughter, Kaylee, he came clean with his transgressions, after which the relationship between the two families became strained. Kaylee reportedly wrote about the abuse in her letter to a favorite author, but instead of sending it, she stuck it in a book and forgot about it. The book was then lent to a friend from church, and so news of what Josh had done was spread within the community. Those who knew were divided on what to do, as some believed that it should be handled by their church because sexual sin is the sin of spiritual nature. However, there were people who were aghast at what had happened and how the perpetrator wasn't brought to justice and continued to live in a house with underage girls. Someone did the right thing and alerted those who could take appropriate action. Finally, the incident was formally investigated, but no charges were filed as the 3-year statute of limitations for the alleged 2002 crime had expired by the time the Springdale police was notified about it in 2006. Molestation rumors had spread in blog posts and fan forums in 2007, but nothing came from them. Josh went on with his life and married Anna Keller in September 2008. Anna knew all about his past teenage mistakes because he told her and her parents a couple of years before he asked her to be his wife. She said that he received counseling and it changed his life, making him a man who knows how to be a gentleman and treat a girl right. It seemed that the crime had been forgotten and that everybody had moved on, as the family was featured in 19 Kids and Counting, which began airing in September 2008. However, someone from In Touch learned of what had happened, having got hold of the police report through the Freedom of Information Act, and wrote an article about it in 2015. Josh issued a statement on Facebook, admitting his wrongdoing and saying that he deeply regretted his actions when he was a young teen. "I understood that if I continued down this wrong road that I would end up ruining my life. I sought forgiveness from those I had wronged and asked Christ to forgive me and come into my life." When his parents were interviewed by Fox News anchor Megyn Kelly, they tried to downplay what happened, as they referred to the molestation as improper touching, and that what Josh did was not rape or anything like that. What was most concerning, they said, was how the police records were released, as those involved were minors. Those records were later expunged, as ordered by Judge Stacy Zimmerman upon request of the victims. Jessa and Jill, who came out as 2 of the victims, said, "We've already forgiven Josh. we've already moved on. The girls also defended their brother and said that people calling him a child molester, rapist, or pedophile went overboard. The public was outraged and the advertisers pulled out of the reality TV series, which prompted the network to terminate the program in July 2015. On the 29th of April 2021, Josh was arrested by U.S. Marshals on child pornography charges and was held without bond in an Arkansas jail, but was later released on several conditions, which included having to stay in a residence with no minors and that contact with his children would only be allowed in the presence of his wife. In May 2019, the Department of Homeland Security executed a search warrant at Josh's car dealership and recovered his personal laptop and work desktop computer. This was in connection with their ongoing investigation of child porn files being shared online, which they traced back to Josh's computer. Josh went on trial beginning November 2021 and pleaded not guilty to the charges. In court, a federal agent testified that they discovered that Josh downloaded and possessed about 65 images of child porn, as well as videos that featured girls between 5 and 10 years old. He further stated that the files were some of the worst sexual abuse child pornography that I've seen in over 1,000 cases. Reportedly, one of the videos found was that of a 3-month-old being sexually abused and tortured. The defense argued during the trial that a third party could have remotely downloaded these incriminating files onto the work computer. However, the federal prosecutor showed a detailed log of online activities, which indicated that Josh alternated between sending personal messages to downloading child porn. Computer analysts explained that his desktop computer had a partition for a Linux operating system to evade a tracking program that would alert his wife, Anna, should he visit a porn site. Perhaps the reason why there was an accountability software installed was that back in August 2015, it was revealed that Josh had an account with Ashley Madison, a website that helped facilitate cheating on one's spouse. Its servers were hacked and the personal data of its users were leaked to the public. Josh issued a statement, "I have been the biggest hypocrite ever. While espousing faith and family values, I have secretly, over the last several years, been viewing pornography on the internet," adding, "This became a secret addiction, and I became unfaithful to my wife." The judge ruled that the evidence that Josh molested minors would be admitted. Bobby Holt, a family friend of the Duggars, testified during a pretrial hearing that Josh told him that he molested his 4 sisters and a babysitter when he was a teen. The defense argued that Josh was never charged for that it had no relevance to this ongoing case and could prejudice the jury. On the 9th of December 2021, the jury found the defendant guilty of receiving and possessing child pornography. Ahead of his sentencing, Michelle Duggar wrote a letter to the judge asking for leniency, saying, "Joshua has a tender heart and he's compassionate towards others." Anna Duggar also penned a letter saying that her husband was a kind, loving, supportive, and caring father and husband. Reportedly, the parent of one of the prepubescent kids who appeared in the downloaded material had said, "I can find no words to express my scorn for any attempt to minimize the responsibility by feeble claims that the crime was victimless," and added, "My daughter is a real person. She's exploited anew every time an image of her suffering is copied, traded, or sold." In May 2022, Arkansas Judge Timothy L. Brooks handed down a sentence of 12.5 years in federal prison to 34-year-old Josh and ordered him to pay special assessments and fines amounting to $50,100. He began serving his sentence in June at the Federal Correctional Institute Seagoville, located on the southeastern side of Dallas, Texas. It's a low-security federal correctional institute that had a high-end treatment program for sex offenders that would help them understand their past offenses and minimize the risk of committing the same crime in the future. There was no possibility of parole, and upon his release, he would still be under probation for 20 years. Josh wouldn't be allowed contact with minors, including with his own children, unless supervised by those on the approved list of the U.S. Probation Office. He couldn't use the internet without asking permission from his probation officer. Watching porn of any kind, including adult porn, was also prohibited. Other rules of his probation included undergoing sex offense-specific therapy and submitting to periodic polygraph testing to ensure his compliance with the requirements of his treatment program. After the sentencing, some family members issued a statement regarding the matter. His 22-year-old brother, Jason, said, "My heart is grieved over the choices my brother has made," and believed that the judge was fair in his ruling. His 31-year-old sister, Jill, and her husband posted on their website, "Until now, he has yet to be held accountable to the extent necessary to cause change in his dangerous pattern of behavior." They also expressed their love for Josh and his family. Josh's parents and wife had yet to issue a statement. Thank you for spending some time with us. Make sure to like and subscribe so you never miss another video. We also handpicked these videos which we recommend you watch next. You can talk to us on all social medias or ask a question in the comments below. Thank you for being with us, and we'll see you back tomorrow.